The storm has now arrived. Hey guys, it's StormBoy13. Today I am going to do, well, tonight doesn't matter, whatever time you watch it. Tonight we are going to discuss about, well, I'm going to discuss about the next UK Web Friends. Tonight is the December 2015 floods. So, and I had a request from Mr. Burns. I don't really care if it's from the same channel if I get most requests. Just generally, I don't have to mention a channel name. But yes, I've got a request, and it's December 2015 floods, which I thought excellent. I'm more than happy to do that. So I've got everything, loads of information to talk to you about. What I know about now, in case you're wondering, before I go on to like like the video thing and Wikipedia. I kind of know a little bit about why it's been so wet. 2015 has been, we had an El Nino kind of year. Now, as we know, El Nino is, even if it's just like half a degree difference in the Atlantic Ocean, it can make a huge difference to our weather. Like, we had a decrease in the temperature in the Atlantic Ocean nearly 2 years ago, and obviously we've had a very cool spring and summer, whilst in parts of the equator, or something like in the not far from the southern hemisphere, the sea temperatures were significantly warmer than average, which caused some severe storms, tropical cyclones, but fewer hurricanes though. I remembered there was one or two big ones, which is actually normal if you don't get many hurricanes at all. But yes, there has been a deadly year for weather, 2015, quite across most parts of the globe. And for us, it's been very extreme as well. Like, the El Nino started around maybe March, April, maybe February. I'm not quite sure, but I do know it lasts for about 2 to 8 months usually. No, I'm sorry, it happens every 2 to 8 years, and it can last for about several months. And it's been fairly wet as well throughout 2015. Quite a bit of rain at times, and then this is when things got interesting. Round in the autumn months when it started, it was at its strongest as well. We've had loads of storms brewing up across. There's always a gradient difference because the ocean temperatures as well, which also, when the air rises up, it can make a huge change into our jet stream and the weather. With the cold air at the north and the moist, humid air in the south mixed together, and because of the sea temperature difference, it has been quite an extreme year. Especially around in the end of 2015, we've had storm after storm after storm, and even when we didn't have any storm names, it's been very wet, quite windy as well. It's been very, very warm though, because we've had loads of low pressure areas across the country, and we've barely had a dry spell from the last 2 months of 2015. Maybe if they were brief. Those 2 months were so wet. And yeah, it has been a very stormy end to the year. There's been, we had Hurricane Andrew. Was it no, it's not Andrew. It was Storm, I think it was Abigail, I think it was. Yes, it was Storm Abigail. Then it was Storm Barney. I'm not going to know all of them, bizarrely enough. Then it was... oh, screw it. It's been a long day for me. I'll probably know this another day. I can remember Gertrude, Henry, Imogen. Don't even ask. I can't remember the rest of them bizarrely. I think another day I would have remembered all of them names. But it has been, I know it's been nearly 10 storms in the UK. The latest one was March. Oh, I think. Yeah, end of March it was. So, but generally, the storms that we have in the UK, it can cause a huge amount of damage. We had a very stormy end to the year. The jet stream was so powerful, it just stopped by any areas of high pressure across our country. It has just generally been rain after rain after rain, wind after wind after wind. It has been very warm as well, significantly warmer than average. Temperatures more typical in April rather than December. Pretty much nearly every day temperatures were in the mid-teen, not quite that warm, but double figures. But as you know, it's the sea temperature difference, the El Nino, and then the La Nina, I think that is. Because that really can just change all the weather systems across the globe because of the temperature difference. So, first of all, I want to show you how bad were the floods across our country in December 2015. I'm just going to go through the video. So, yep, bear with me. Somewhere in northern England, so let's take a look. Where's the full screen? Alright, there's no sound. Did I have this video before? I can't remember. Oh, it doesn't matter. But, you can see there's been huge damage. It's like looks like earthquake kind of damage stuff. You can tell from the river, that is pretty high. About 3 times the normal amount of rain that they had over the past month, of course, in a month. Oh, that's why. Sorry, mouse is in the way. Yeah, everywhere's flooded. The house gave way. It's nothing but rubble now. Hopefully the people got out before the house collapsed. And to be honest, probably may gave way even further. This is probably taken by a helicopter. You can just tell. The scale of the damage is almost beyond comprehension. Yeah, I mean, the other house seemed okay, unless the inside looked damaged in terms of flooding. But just look at that. It's all gone. I did almost forgot to mention, the worst hit areas in the UK were Northern England, Cumbria. I remembered November 2009 was easily the wettest November on record in Cumbria, where we had rainfall totals roughly roughly 500 millimeters of rain. I think so, but yeah, I do remember the 19th of November 2009 was the wettest day pretty much in UK history, or close to that either way, because relentless rain just constantly fell down, very little in a way of stopping by torrential rain, 24, 48 hours, maybe even 3 days non-stop in 1 or 2 places. And obviously we have had quite a lot of rain. I remembered even in the first half of November. It's because of the stubborn low pressure system of rain, it just caused havoc. I mean, the rivers gave way, and I guess because Cumbria is fairly noticeable for rain. It's quite unusual. It's quite usual to get rain pretty much all the time, but never this much though. So it just can't hold that much water. I mean, it has to give way, otherwise, well, it's got no choice. We'll have to give way. But the thing is, it's never a good thing when it overflows. You know, damage can easily be done. There could be landslides, maybe mudslides as well. And it's quite a hilly area as well. I guess maybe not all of Cumbria, I guess, might not be all flooded. But some of it, well, no, that's it. All of it looks pretty rough. I remember the police officer died as well during when she was protecting all the people, trying to get them across, and the bridge collapsed while she was on it, and sadly lost her life. So that's what I know about. 6 years later, yeah, nearly the same. Well, I don't know if I don't think anyone died. I think, but even that, the damage was just probably even worse, I guess. Loads more homes got flooded as well. Don't know how many. I'm going to read that out now on Wikipedia, so let's find out together. As you know, Western Europe saw a series of extratropical cyclones forming in a westerly flow of the Atlantic, directing warm moist air to the region. A situation developed in a similar manner to that seen during the autumn 2000 Western Europe floods, which I mentioned the other day, which saw catchments and soils becoming increasingly saturated. During November, high rainfalls associated with the passage of Storm Abigail, and remains of ex-Hurricane Kate, bore increasingly high river flows. Many parts of northwest Britain saw almost double the average monthly rainfall for November, with the month becoming the second wettest to affect northwest England and North Wales, behind November 2009, since records began in 1910. So Storm Desmond, that's what it was. It was on the 5th of December, I remember that day. It broke the United Kingdom's 24-hour rainfall record with nearly 350mm of rain, 341.4 to be precise, falling in Honister Pass, Cumbria on the 5th. The previous record was set in 2009, so the camera was facing a bit off. Set in 2009, also in Cumbria, when 316.4mm of rain fell in Seawaite. I remember that place. The highest standard was around 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock GMT rain day record. However, it remains 279mm more than Snow Dorset, set on July 18th, 1955. Okay, much of the historical data was recorded in this way. The 48-hour rainfall record was also beaten, with Filmir reporting 405mm of rain falling up to around 8 o'clock AM the next day, comparing to the previous record of nearly 400mm on the 18th to 19th of November 2009 in Seathwaite. Okay, wasn't quite 500. Desmond created an anthropomorphic river in its wake, bringing in moist air from the Caribbean to the British Isles. As a result, rainfall from Desmond was unusually heavy, with the Norwegian Meteorological Institute designating Desmond an extreme weather event as a result of the amount of rain that fell. The heavy rainfall caused the waterfall to appear at Mollem Cove for a short period of time. This has not previously happened in living memory. So the Cumbria floods. City centre was obviously in flood water, December 2015. Heavy rainfall from Desmond has caused severe disruption. Appleby, Keswick, Kendal, in the English county of Cumbria, suffered blocked roads, collapsed bridges, and as I know, some homes obviously had to be evacuated. Cumbria police declared the situation a major incident. Many houses in Carlisle were flooded, and tens of thousands of properties in Lancaster lost power when the substation was flooded. And then, as you know, as a result of this incident, 3,500 properties were flooded in the UK, mostly northwest England. 2,000 of these in Carlisle. The village of Glen Riding flooded for the second time on the 9th. In the county, 3 bridges were washed away. Caldale High Bridge in Braithwaite, the Fifth Footbridge in Keswick, and now a Pooley Bridge in Eden District. Parts of the A591 road, an important north-south artery between Gracemere and Keswick, in the Lake District, was washed away at Dunmail Race, with a landslip occurring adjacent to Filmy. So let's... Christmas Eve. Storm Eva. Eva was the 5th storm, obviously, to be officially named by Met Rien from the Met Office on December 22nd, 2015, with an orange wind warning being issued for counties Clare, Galway, Mayo, Sligo and Donegal. Gales were also expected in northwest UK with storm force winds over parts of the Outer Hebrides. The rain associated with the passage of Eva caused a further disruption when rivers burst their banks in the Cumbrian towns of Appleby, Keswick and Kendal on the 22nd, with Appleby receiving 3 to 4 feet of floodwater. The village of Glen Riding was also badly flooded for the 3rd time in a month. 6,000 houses in Ireland were left without power. Liz Truss convened a COBRA meeting to decide on emergency measures, which included deployment of soldiers from the 2nd Battalion, Duke of Lancaster's regiment to the affected areas. As you know, on Christmas Eve, flood defence scales were closed in Carlisle, Keswick and Cockermouth. Don't even go there. To limit the damage of rainfall, and 20 water pumps and 2 kilometres of temporary flood barriers were transported to northern England. Ferries operating between Dublin and Holyhead were cancelled due to bad weather on the Irish Sea, and even around the Christmas period, things did not get any better. Christmas and Boxing Day rain, as you know, the worst of flooding occurred on the night of Christmas Day and throughout Boxing Day across Lancashire and Yorkshire. Wouldn't want to spend your Christmas there. Boxing Day, homes were evacuated in Calder Valley, West Yorkshire, and in Ribchester and Raleigh, Lancashire, according to the Environment Agency. Every river in Lancashire peaked at the highest levels, obviously, since records began. And even more, the flooding has even caused 2 explosions in Radcliffe, Greater Manchester, as gas mains were erupted. One explosion of subsequent fire occurred as a result of a footbridge being swept away by the River Irwell, with footage of the incident being widely shared on social media. Floodwater was also entered electricity pump station at Hebron Bridge, producing a fire. No explosion, I guess. In Greater Manchester, a 200-year-old pub on a bridge over the River Irwell, close to the East Lancashire Railway, partly collapsed into the river as burst its banks Boxing Day. Derail also burst its banks downstream Manchester city centre. Gosh. 3,000 homes were without power in North and West Yorkshire on Boxing Day as a result of the electricity substation being flooded. Most of the power outages occurred in the Calder Valley and around Bingley and Skipton, with substation owners Northern Power Grid stating that the engineers cannot safely reach the substations to assess the damage due to rising floodwaters. It leads to River Eye flooded over its banks, causing flooding in the Kirkstall Road area of the city, blocking a main route to the city. Total of, to be very precise, 7,574 homes across North England were without power by 8 o'clock. Then on the 27th, around 5,500 of these homes without power were located in the town of Rockdale and Greater Manchester, where a major electricity substation was flooded. As a result of outages in Rockdale, electricity customers were told to limit their electricity usage to prevent further blackouts, for example by switching off their Christmas lights. Electricity provider Electricity North West warned that some homes may be without power until the 28th of December. Then in York, the Environment Agency were forced to open the frost barrier, which has protected the city centre since 1987. As the control room had become flooded and the pumps were in danger of failing, to prevent the river frost backing up and causing flooding, the agency raised the barrier, allowing the floodwaters from the to move up the foss. The action caused some 600 households in the city to flood, whereas the Environment Agency estimated 1,800 homes would have flooded were the barrier not lifted. Then on the 29th, part of Tadcaster Bridge in North Yorkshire collapsed due to flooding, having been closed since 27th December due to fears it had been structurally compromised. Then Storm Frank, another one, 29th of December. Well, to be precise, it was also on the 30th as well. The Met Office announced a trailing weather front as a storm named Frank would likely cause further disruption. Amber Be Prepared rainfall warnings were enforced, resulting in severe flood warnings in England and Scotland, meaning danger to life. Frank caused severe flooding in Scotland with the towns of Dumfries, Pebbles and Bulwater flooded by the rivers Neath, Tweed and Dee. Anglo Castle was left on the brink of serious damage after flooding eroded the banks of the Dee within feet of the foundations. On the 4th of January, Network Rail announced the West Coast main line between Carlisle and Glasgow would be closed until the 1st of February, with passengers either diverted through Dumfries or transferred to coaches due to significant damage to Lamington Viaduct. Parts of Renwick Pier at Weston-super-Mare, North Somerset, collapsed during the storms on the 30th. Ellen Bridge in Calder, West Yorkshire, partly collapsed on the 29th. January 2016, the beginning of January at least, still continued that miserable theme. In early January, heavy rain was primarily affecting eastern Scotland and the northeast of England. The Met Office has also issued amber warnings for Moray, Aberdeenshire, Agnes, Perthshire and Stirlingshire on the 4th of January. Flooding was reported to have almost cut off the town of Whitby on that same night. On the night of the 7th of January, Aberdeenshire Council reported an escalating emergency response due to flooding. At first this was confirmed to Rivers Dee and even, but later on the 8th had focused on flooding around Coulter, South Lancashire. Up to 70 properties were evacuated in total, and the impacts of the storm caused disruption to rail, road, air travel, power cuts and school closures. Flooding, freezing temperature and snow reduced the ability of the service to rescue and safely contain people. The River Don reached its highest water levels for 45 years. The River Yede broke its all-time record level in one location. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon described the impacts as devastating, and Richard Brown, head of hydrology for CP, described the Don's water levels as pretty exceptional, and the aftermath. In response to flooding, there has been criticism of the way in which flood risk is communicated to the public, as return periods of 1 in 100-year flooding could be misleading, as a 1 in 100-year event means the 1% chance of one occurring in any given year, and what is expected to happen once every 100 years. The dynamic nature of the underlying climate conditions behind such assumptions that had also been questioned, with the Environment Agency saying that a complete rethink of the UK's flood defences is needed. So there you go, that's quite a lot of information to tell you about the December 2015 floods. I don't think anyone died, so that's probably the best thing, but still not good though. And lastly, in case that's not enough, What would global warming be like? What would that impact on our weather? Well, let's get started. As you know, the UK government today issued the most detailed assessment data. This was back in 2009, by the way. So sorry, this is an old one. For the weather, the 2020s, okay, are looking warm and dry with occasional heavy winter showers. The 2050s should be sunny and warm with scattered depths due to heat waves across London and southeast. And looking ahead to the 2080s, temperatures could reach 41 degrees Celsius. So be sure to pack the sunscreen for your picnic and watch out for those great white sharks. Okay, this was a long time ago since this was updated to the websites. Scientists will say summer rainfall in southeast England could decrease by a fifth by the 2050s. Average mean temperatures are likely to rise by more than 2 degrees Celsius across the UK by the 2040s. If carbon emissions continue to rise, there is a 10% chance that temperatures in the southeast could rise by 8 degrees Celsius or more by the 2080s. There is no doubt, I can always mention about this another time, there is no doubt about it, that climate change is the biggest challenge facing the world today, and it is still today. It is already happening. The hottest 10 years on record globally have all been since 1990. This landmark scientific evidence shows not only that we need to tackle the causes of climate change, but also that we must deal with the consequences. So it says likely changes for the 2020s, 2050s and 2080s. Drier, warmer summers and wetter, milder winters. The new results more... Yeah. So I'm going to stop from there, because you never know. Could always talk about this another time. So generally, it didn't really mention much about El Nino, but I kind of know it's have a knock-on effects from it. There was a huge gradient that winter, especially the early parts of the winter, maybe late autumn, where we had succession of storms with the cold air and the moist air, and because of the ocean temperature change as well, it can be a huge impact. Even by less than half a degree, it can still cause devastating consequences to our country, and that's why, because the jet stream was stuck in that position for several months, until around February, it's just been relentless. Wet, dreadful, I can go on for hours. So, and we could have these again, even if it may not be quite as extreme, we can have wet winters. This winter, however, this year has been the opposite. It's been very dry, which is, I guess, is not a bad thing, I guess. But, so yes, will we have future winters like this? Will we get loads more flooding? Well, we'll have to find out for yourselves, I guess. Alright, I'm going to end this weather event here. Thank you very much for the request. Much appreciated. Want me to do any more? Comment below. Want me to do any global weather forecasting? Comment below. Okay, that's it for now. Right now, not much happening for the rest of the week. So we'll see what happens, I guess. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, subscribe to this video as well, subscribe to my channel. Not getting too far off to the 3-digit mark. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. The storm is now out.